I want to thank each and every one of you for coming out tonight, especially since you're all getting a taste of the weather that we ordinarily never have here in our communities. PMP Suncoast is proud to bring to the Sarasota Manatee communities each year the Perlman Music Program Winter Residency.
Why don't we do movement 4 of the Grieg, because we haven't done that before. So do you remember where you're sitting? Francesca and Caroline, Stephen and Co, Mariella and Dory, Michelle and Annie, Francesca and Philip, Co and Eugene, ladies and gentlemen, if you're wondering what this is all about, those of you who are here first time, usually when we rehearse and when we play concerts, we like to rotate people. And I think that it's very appropriate that we are rotating today for the Rotaries. It just occurred to me that it was interesting. So we like to rotate for every single piece. So if a piece has several movements, each movement has a different, people sit in different places, because we feel that this is just one of those, we have a philosophy that we don't have levels of playing. You know, everybody here is doing their best that they can, and everybody's talented, and there's no such thing as I'm the best, therefore I'm sitting in the front. You know, that doesn't exist here. So we're going to now do for you one movement from a piece by Grieg called Suite in the style of Holberg. 6.
Hi, and I am so honored to be here with Mr. and Mrs. Perlman today. Thank you for taking the time out to speak with us. So I want to talk about, Mrs. Perlman, the Perlman Music Program. What is the Perlman Music Program?
My favorite topic.
Yes. Perfect.
The Perlman Music Program is kind of an umbrella name at this point, because we have many programs that we run. The original program, and still in my heart and soul and mind even, and the major program, is a 7-week summer residency for pre-college age string players. It's an international program. We attract students from all over the world, and we are lucky to have a beautiful campus in Shelter Island, New York, with dormitories and a dining room and all the facilities that a summer camp needs, and that's the major program. We also have a chamber music workshop which meets during the summer for ages 18 and above. Totally different curriculum. I do not run it. Mary Peckham is the director of that program. And we do, throughout the year, we do residencies in various places, Sarasota being the major one. close to our hearts. We also do offer performance opportunities throughout the winter, and we do international trips as well.
Now, and there's a specific philosophy behind your program, and from what I understand, when you were a student at Juilliard, the idea of having a different type of teaching style, is that the right way to put it, maybe?
A different type of teaching style is a way to put it that's correct. I tend to think of it as a humane and human type of teaching style. I don't think you have to beat the child up in order for the child to learn. On the contrary, I think that if you have a positive statement ahead of the learning, it paves the way for the child to listen. If you say to the child, you know, that was really wonderful practicing you did. Now let's see how we might want to add something. Something positive, not judgmental, not harsh. I think you get a better response.
And not the competitiveness that is kind of bred in certainly musicians, athletes, especially at such young ages.
I don't feel that competitiveness is something great that we should cultivate. Not in art. I don't know how it works in sports. Maybe in sports it's important to hit the ball harder or run faster or swim faster if you want to win the race. But art is not about winning a race. Art is about making a statement from your heart. And creating. And I don't think competition should be an issue at all.
Which is, now, Mr. Perlman, what was your experience like as you were learning and coming up into the world of music?
Well, it's interesting because I had two experiences. I had the, quote, old-fashioned experience, which started with my first teacher. She was, her background was Russian, and she basically believed in making you feel bad by trying to accuse you of not practicing and, you know, giving you the guilt trip.
The wrapping of the knuckles.
You know, not literally, but giving you a lot of guilt, you know. And then, so that was my first teacher in Israel. And then I had two teachers in the United States. One of them was slightly, well, it was similar to the one that I had in Israel, which is basically, just do what I tell you and it'll be fine. And he was a very good teacher, but again, he was not one of those teachers that involves you in the process, which was the other teacher. I mean, the first teacher, his name was Ivan Galamian, and the other one was Dorothy DeLay. And Dorothy DeLay was actually the first teacher that I had in the United States. And when she started to tell me, Sugar Plum, what is your concept of G sharp? Instead of saying to me, it's out of tune, I was not used to that. And I hated that. And I didn't like it at all. And I just said to her, just said to her, please tell me what to do and I'll do it. You know, that was the kind. And she believed in involving the student in the process of learning. And as much as I hated it then, funny enough, that's the way I teach now. And that's the way, that's part of the philosophy of the Perlman music program, is involving the student in the process of learning, as well as not hitting them across the head with guilt trips or whatever, and making them feel bad. Yeah, okay, listen, as you notice, you know, you've got to keep looking because we don't want to be prisoner to the beginning. The tempo actually started, what do you think of that tempo? I mean, what happened with that tempo? It started fast, and then what happened? Then it started to slow down. And then I was going, and nothing's happened. Actually, the bases were very much on time, and as a result, we were not together. Because they were going, and we were kind of schlepping. Schlepping, you know the terminology schlepping, it's in old Italian terms, you know. Hey, don't schlep, you know, so we shouldn't schlep. So I mean, it started pretty good, maybe a smidgen faster, but still, if for some reason I feel that it's kind of maybe slowing down, let me sort of try sneakily getting into the tempo, all right? So can we start, and you know what's the most dangerous place is at letter O, where it's pianissimo. Usually in pianissimo, we always tend to kind of slow down. So let's not try and do that. Okay, can we just do from letter O? Well, schleppen is actually, Mahler uses it a lot too. Nicht schleppen, yeah? Does schleppen means to slow down? So, schleppen is schleppen, you know? All right, here we go. Letter O. Please don't schlep. And 2.
I liked how you state in your mission, it's to look at the children, the students, as a whole person and not just a one singular piece of them.
Yes, because art is a reflection of life, and if you got nothing up there and nothing going on here, you have nothing. So we're trying to encourage them to be whole people and be responsible people and good people. They are a part of our community, certainly. And don't get us wrong. I mean, we have a rigorous curriculum. We are very demanding. This is not a coochie-coochie-coo kind of program, but it's the way in which we demand, and it's the kind of demand we make. You know, we do make demands of them as a community to help one another, to root for one another, that kind of thing.
It's teamwork as opposed to the individual.
Definitely.
Which is wonderful.
Definitely.
And you mentioned that there are students from all over the world.
Yes.
How do you select your students?
Well, in this age of the computer, you know, they go online to our website, they download the application, they follow the rules, they make a DVD, we get it, and then the teacher of each instrument on our faculty is the one who listens to that instrument. So the cello teacher listens to the cellist and he decides who he wants to take, and my husband listens to the fiddle players and decides who, and that's how it works.
And it's the 36 students
It's about between 36, 38, you know, it hovers around there, yeah.
And what would their typical day be like? Like right now you're doing the winter residency on the Gulf Coast region that we all love.
Well, the Sarasota winter residency mimics our Littles program exactly. It's exactly the same curriculum. They get up in the morning, everybody's required to go to breakfast, they practice 4 50-minute hours, 6 days a week. They have lunch, they play ping pong or pool or whatever it is they're going to play, and then they have chamber music in the afternoon, chorus at 5, orchestra, let's say 3 times a week during the summer at 7. Sometimes there's an activity after orchestra. In the afternoons when they play chamber music, their chamber music time, not everybody is playing chamber music all the time. So you might have during the summer a group swimming, we have a waterfront, and a group going to town, and you know, there's a ping pong tournament, there's normal stuff going on.
Intermixed with a lot of intensive music training.
Yeah.
I love the way you referred to your husband as the fiddler. Only you could refer to him as a fiddler. But I would imagine that it's very intimidating for these students, because they're as young as 13, that certainly to say that you're a world-renowned violinist and conductor could be an understatement. So how do you deal with that intimidation of your students and working through to get to the learning and teaching process?
Well, I don't find there's a problem there. I mean, they may be intimidated the first 5 minutes, but after that, I think that they're, and Toby, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I think they're not, I don't think anyone is scared of me. Maybe they want to do their best, maybe they respect me, I have no idea. But I certainly don't think they're scared of me, and I don't think they're intimidated, because I try to make them feel comfortable. You know, when something doesn't sound right, there's several ways of saying that it doesn't sound right. You can either say, my God, that sounds horrible, or you can say, well, it's not entirely perfect. And the minute you say something like this, everybody sort of gets put at ease. You know, it goes in the, you know, it goes from, well, a lot of people, when I teach, they know what I teach like. But when it comes to, we have this string orchestra that I conduct, and when several things don't sound so good, you know, I try to use humor by demonstrating that it's not exactly something that is an ideal way of sounding, and that we can do something better. But again, it's in the language, and it's the attitude of how you approach the student. And as I said, you know, after 5-10 minutes, I think that they don't have a problem with me. I just want to make one place, please, before P, 1, 2, 3, 4. Can I have just first violins before P, and I want to let me see, what do? You start up or down? Yeah, so, so stay at the tip so we have all that note. Can we just do it right from there? 1, 2, 3, 4 before P, just the first violins. 1, and go. Yeah. Are we all sliding? Yes. Are we all sliding? Please, we're all sliding. Okay, again. We are sliding. We're sliding. We're sliding. Here we go. 1 and go. No, some people slid slightly early. You know, I want everybody, including the lower strings. That's the thing. All right. Again. 1. And go. Now we're talking. Yeah, as a matter of fact, the people who are playing on the A string about 10% louder would be even better. All right, again. 1 and then. Go to the tip, all the way to the tip, all the way to the tip. Again, and go. Yeah, it's too polite. I heard I want to really slide there, right? And go. That's what I want. That's what I want.
Something that you do on the USF campus here that I'm not sure if you do in Shelter Island, but when you have rehearsals, you invite the public to come and see the rehearsals So your students are able to have a live audience as you're giving feedback and maybe stopping for that's not quite the sound we're looking for. What kind of experience is that for the students of having that public involvement?
I think they're used to it because we do it on Shelter Island.
Yes.
And we bring the community in, and the members of the community get to watch these kids grow up. And I mean grow up, you know. They come, some of them when they're 12, and they don't leave until they're 18, and the public becomes very attached to them. It's nice.
So it's
Nice
a little
thing.
bit, I mean, obviously it's wonderful for the public.
And it's good for
and
the
it's
kids.
good for the
Sure,
kids in terms
sure.
of...
You know, it's important when we have our concerts, which we call works in progress. It's very important for them to get nervous. It's important for them to play, to find out where the piece is weak, where they have to work. But it's a nice thing for them to play for a public who they know is on their side. And I think that's the feeling that they get here in Sarasota and also in Shelter Island.
Well, and last night, we are not used to freezing cold weather, which we had. And you had 900 people under the tent to watch you. So, and that experience for you as a mentor, does the audience disappear for you?
Well, they disappear when you actually work on it, on the particular piece, you know. But every now and then, you turn around and you explain to them what it is. I mean, I personally, I'm very selfish about the way the kids sound, you know, and I love to show them off, you know. And whenever they sound good, you know, I'm so proud that they sound good. And yesterday, for example, we rehearsed this Tchaikovsky movement, and I was having a little bit of a problem, just a slight problem with the ensemble. And I said, okay, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to start you off, and then you're going to play by yourself without my conducting, which they did this entire movement, and it was amazing. And so there was nothing that gave me more pride than just to sit back and just to watch everybody communicate with each other and making a chamber music experience with an orchestral work. And then, so I was, you know, so I was showing those. So I that kind of selfish on my side.
Yes, but in a nice way.
Yes, yes.
And another thing about the teamwork aspect is that typically there is a first chair, second chair, et cetera. You rotate.
Yeah.
And what's the principle or the philosophy behind that?
It's ridiculous in a school situation not to rotate. Ridiculous. Everybody is here to learn. And we don't have the kids audition for their chair. Once they're in the program, everybody's equal, and it's just rotated. It's the way we do it, and I firmly believe that all schools should do that. The kids who might be a bit younger, not as experienced in orchestra, they need to sit up in front. They shouldn't be in the back. You know, I mean, it's about the kid. It's not about, I don't think it's about showing off the orchestral players. I think it's about the students, and especially, doesn't apply to us, but woodwinds and brass, where you have schools that have great orchestras, conservatories and colleges that have great orchestras, who have auditions before every concert for the seats, and the first flute remains the first flute. The kid who's sitting second flute never gets a chance to play the first flute part, and so on. I think that's terrible.
Well, and I think your statement that it is an arduous or a competitive process to get into the school, and everyone that's in the program is a wonderful musician.
Exactly.
So that piece is done. So I like the thought of everyone gets their chance to be the leader and to be
Absolutely.
at the back of the bus, so to speak.
Just reinforces our philosophy of trying to sort of do the best that you can and not to compete. And the minute you compete and you get a reward for your competition, that defeats the whole purpose. You know, this is not a school for competition. This is a school for everybody doing their best their best. And as you say, the level is pretty high, so if somebody is better at certain thing or another, you know, let them have an experience, and it's just another sign of what we feel about the school, the rotating.
Like to thank you all. It's certainly such a gem for our region to have you all here and having the winter residency at the at USF. And it's one of the many things. I was talking to a friend this morning saying, guess who I get to talk to today? And we have so many gems in our region that just make it a wonderful place to live and be. So thank you for sharing a bit of your magic with us.
We love it here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.